And now I get the angry text from Joe. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. I'm very excited and very happy to be with you all guys. I know you have learned a lot of things from other sessions as well, me as well. If you're here means last 2 days you survived last 2 days. It's again, you definitely know what is the focus, what it can do for the business as well. Focus is all about bringing cost and cost data in the consistent format. But at Heineken, we have not only public cloud cost data, we have data for the service providers' costs, and tens of millions investment in the private cloud and local data center across the world. And we want to make use of the focus to work for all the data. It means not only optimizing for the public cloud, we want to extend all our practices to private cloud and local data center services as well. Today I'll walk through with you some of the challenges that we encountered. I mean, again, it's not easy journey, but I want to show you how we want to intend to make use of focus to overcome those challenges. I'm Kumar. I'm a cloud engineering lead at Heineken. I'm in this space for quite some time. I'm very passionate about FinOps, and I'll show you some of the details in a while. I'll walk through with you our quick journey about, quick introduction about Heineken. And next I'll start with our FinOps journey and so far, and how we are operating our services before focus. Next, I will dive into why focus matters, why it is becoming center to our strategy, and some of the key challenges, and then our focus adoption plan. After that, we can also look into what focus can bring to the business as well. Okay, so I guess no special introduction required for Heineken. We are we are a global brand. We are the #1 brewer in Europe as well. We are proudly serve our customers in more than 190 countries, and we produce more than 350 brands, from international to local beers and ciders as well. As a global operator, from the technology point of view, we also serve our customers, our internal customers across the world, and cost management is one of the key aspects for us. Before I go into the details, let me also quickly give you some of our FinOps journey. Until 2021, we heavily rely on our famous Excel files and pivot tables. And then our main focus was to charge back to our customers. Basically, we see the cost coming from the left hand from the Azure, AWS, and all the public clouds. We charge it to the right hand, whereas my operating companies. Again, a lot of people very happy, because they see a lot of, especially engineers, very happy. They can play with a lot of pivot tables and Excels. And also, but other hand, we're also good, like a lot of my operating companies, they trust to, okay, they see the cost coming from the head office. They don't need to challenge. They think that is coming from the trusted source. They don't need to validate anything. They cannot see anything because it's one line item in the invoice. But on the other hand, we think that, we can charging back to all the things to our operating companies, which is not helping at all. So we realize that challenge, because trust itself will not solve the problems. And then we start introducing our internal reporting system called Clear Sky. So with that, we are able to show back all our opportunities, the insights and actionable insights, translating back to the business terms, which led to a lot of millions of savings. Basically, people able to, in the public cloud, people also able to click a lot of expensive buttons, but at the same time, they were able to save a lot of, they were able to optimize. I would not call it as a saving. Basically, they will manage to avoid a lot of unnecessary costs as well. After seeing all this value, we start investing our time and resources for automation and also FinOps journey. We started more into towards mid of the 2023 and 2024. And then we start seeing people see that they're very happy about public cloud data, But again, they start asking about what about managed service providers costs? Because most of our environment outsourced and managed by our partners. They want to see the total cost of ownership, not just public cloud cost data. So that's where we start looking into our, again, go back to our famous Excel files that we receive on monthly basis. Start looking at how we can standardize it. I'll show you in a while my challenges that when we start tackling about it. Meanwhile, while we are talking about our Excel file standardizations, we start looking at the focus as well. Whatever that we done in 6 months period, we see that the focus, a lot of things focus is addressing. So that's why we are very excited about focus. We really hope that we want to switch all this data into focus format in the near future so that I can enable all my engineers across the world will be able to talk about the business language. In the past, they were able to talk about a lot of costs, not in the business terms. Until 2020, until today, so you just name it, we have all the public clouds. You can call it as Azure, AWS, and GCP and IBM, maybe not Alibaba Cloud, but we have all the clouds we consume. Plus, we do have the private cloud data centers across the 4 regions as well. And on top of that, earlier I mentioned that we have the managed service providers cost, which is one of the pain point for us. When it comes to the public cloud data, yes, it's a lot of data to consume, lot of data to process. Before this savings plans and reservations, we used to process the cost and usage data. It's fine. But again, when this reservation savings come into the picture, we need to double up the amount of the time to process this amortized data. Some extent, yes, engineers very proud about it, whatever they've done. We see that we build a lot of beautiful reports. It's nice some extent. And again, again, we can trust the data about the public cloud. That's not, only thing is that we need to spend a lot of time to process that data. But when it comes to our private cloud and service providers costs, we receive the data in the Excel formats. It's not that bad that we are receiving the data in Excel. We are happy that we have the data. But again, the data consistency in the Excel files is a challenge. So, but other hand, so sometimes because of that inconsistency, we end up in the pivot tables, and we have the multiple reports. Even though when we started with the great idea of this, bringing all these insights into our internal reporting tool, it becoming again complexity. But other hand, as I mentioned earlier, we have operating companies across the world, 4 regions. We have multiple global teams. We have the short-term projects. We have like event-specific projects as well, sometimes joint ventures, M&A. To deal with all these things, bringing them into the same page of understanding, it's not easy. So we are trying to simplify all these things. We are trying to translate all these technical jargons into the simple layman terms into the business terms. We call it as landscapes. The business, to some extent, yes, they see that the business very happy. Oh, okay, at least now they're talking about the business language. My engineers is talking about to business language. They're able to show the value. And again, one of my stakeholders asked, hey, Kumar, you spend a lot of time, you standardize all those things. Why do you want to, again, change in the focus format? So in this room, how many of you using the reservations and savings plans? I guess most of you. In one of the occasion, we applied the savings plan. We thought that it brings down the cost. Yeah, we look at the savings plans. It's even 100% consumed, but we see the negative value. Any of you guys experienced that challenge? I guess not. But yes, there is the possibility that even though you apply the savings plan, even if you consume 100%, it can show the negative value. Let me explain you why. Sometimes our procurement managed to deal the good deal with this service provider. They had a good discount on the commitment-based discount. But savings plans and reservations is not eligible to get the discount on top of the discount. So our commitment discount is better than applying the savings plan. especially 1-year savings plan. So people think that they used to compare with the list price. They used to just buy the savings plan for 1 year. They start seeing the negative value. They will start complaining. They start losing the trust of our team. Hey, Kumar, last time you said the savings plans, the reservations is to go to and save the same money. But again, it's becoming a negative value. So I become over the night star in the company because I asked them to stop it. We really need to figure it out, why it is becoming negative value. We even log the ticket to all the experts in the Microsoft. Again, it's not that easy sometimes to figure it out, all these numbers. And then we realize that we are comparing the data with the list price. Our discounted price is like a contracted price is much better than savings, even list price minus the savings plans, even much better. Sometimes, if I look at that angle, it's not easy for me to show the insights. So in that case, savings plans is not beneficial for me. So now I see then when I compare all this data in the focus format, focus is really talking about all these cost elements. It's not just list price. It will also show you the details about the contracted price and consumed price, and then actual effective price. When you have all these details, it's much easier for you to create the insights for such things. So that's why using that use case, I was able to convince my stakeholders as well. And sometimes we have the contracts in the USD format, but we operate in the euros. And a lot of inflation. Sometimes I'm charging back to some of operating companies somewhere in Sri Lanka. The currency is depreciating very fast. And then for them, I need to translate twice. If I don't show all these details, if I really continue to follow my existing format, it's impossible for me to show those kind of variances, impossible for me to show that insights, because it takes a lot of time for my engineers as well. Even finance may not like it, especially my colleague here in front of me, finance colleague. So they may not like it. So that's where we start looking at this focus format to bring the insights. So in that sense, public cloud, yes, we are happy. We will go into the right direction. And then that's where the complexity kick in. What about the operations cost and private data centers cost? So again, while doing all these things, in our environment changed a lot. Let me quickly share with you. In the past, we used to have one public cloud, one private cloud, one service provider to operate all those things. It's like we used to operate things in very controlled manner. So in that sense, it's not easy. I mean, from the business point of view, it's very rigid model. From the cost management of it, very simple, straightforward. Not many chances to go wrong from the cost management point of view. Even if I charge a monthly basis, it should be fine. But over the time, that model is not sufficient for innovation and then meeting the new business demands. We start offering the more hosting options, like Azure, AWS, and the many other public clouds. On top of that, we also introduce many global service providers as well. And even some extent, our private cloud starts shaping into the next level. In the past, we used to receive as like a monthly billing. Now, private cloud also start offering in the hourly rate billing. Even sometimes, even if I only operate one server on 1 hour basis, if I don't have the right analysis, I maybe end up paying for 1 month, which we do not want it. And in addition to that, we also start offering as a self-managed environment. That means we'll provide the environment, hosting environment, and those expertise from our operating companies can manage their own Azure or AWS environment. That means they have the options to click a lot of expensive buttons. But again, they may not be the one who process the cost. We see the cost, but they may not know how our contracts was negotiated and all the insights. So basically, we need to show that insights. So one is the operations cost, one is the hosting cost. Hosting cost, as I mentioned earlier, I was showing the insights. It's great. When I'm talking about this operations cost, we receive the famous Excel files. This Excel file has a lot of emotions, right? But computers does not like emotions. They just brutally yeah, if it is not in my favorite way, I mean, especially they are colorblind computers, so they just reject. This Excel file has built historically, like 15 years ago. It has a lot of macros. I mean, if I give it to the finance guys, they love it because they have a lot of details. They will enjoy it. Every column has a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling. So, but again, when I start processing it, it's not easy. My engineers start hating. So then we say, okay, we want to standardize and simplify. What exactly the problem in that Excel file? Is it that, are we getting the right data, or is it because I just need to rename the column into the ABC, then I can process it? We see that very simple example, like Excel files, very often my service provider used to send in the unstructured columns, undefined data formats, and sometimes the column length is, they can key in whatever they want it. So when we're trying to process it, very often we run into the data import errors. Our SQL or database systems does not like all those things, uncertainty. But again, but other hand, my famous engineers, they are very smart people, they're able to fix it. I mean, they know how it works, they're able to fix it, they spend a lot of time, they feel very proud about it. But again, it's not sustainable. We really want to address that root cause of that problem. It's not that we don't trust them, they are able to do it, but it's not sustainable. But another one, date format. I know sometimes it's very simple. I mean, one of the month, in the September month, I received the invoice for the 3 million. When we process the data, we only see the 2 million cost. We were able to charge back 2 millions, another 1 million is missing. Oh, then it's another stress moment. Okay, so I need to sacrifice my bonus for this year because I will be rated as an underperformer. So then I change, okay, then we'll, again, I use my engineering hat to dig all the Excel files and financial hat. We realized that my partner, they have the different team members is sending the data. One of the team member using the DDMMY format, other guy is sending MMDDYY format. But we don't like it. I change it to YYDDMMY, whatever the format that we like it. So this September month data, half of the data is translated as a July or June month data, and half of the data reflected as a September month data. So it's silly problem, but again, it cost me a lot, especially my bonus, so I hate it. So basically, I want to change all those things. I don't want all this uncertainty. Other one, in Excel file. As I said earlier, a lot of emotions, right? Every year, whenever we have the new price catalog, so my partner used to increase the columns. They like to increase this horizontal expansions. So that's their favorite. So every year they inject, like 2023, this is based on this one, they have the calculation, 2024, they have the another column. So every year, January, so I need to change my tool again because it cannot recognize. And I see that so many totals in that Excel file. My process does not pick up which total is correct. But on the other hand, when I'm talking to my finance guys, they say, oh, no, so this is beautiful because they can get all the details. So this is the challenge. So basically, it's like, I'm sure after looking at this Excel file, you agree with me that we need to have some standards to fix that fundamental problems. That's bare minimum. So when I look at the focus, all these things, even though sometimes we underestimate all these things, all this focus is documented very well. Do I need to think for myself? No, actually. I can ask my partners to look at the focus, send me the data in that format. So that will be sustainable in the long run, not just my engineer fixing that problem. Yes, every one of us can fix the problem, but do we really want to spend the time on those kind of things, low-hanging fruits? Another one, sometimes we don't receive enough information in the Excel files. Because that Excel files, we didn't ask for that column, so we are not receiving that information. One of the example, we have the 5 years contract, which is possible to extend for another 2 years with the additional cost of cost. In the 5 years period, we have a lot of variances. First 4 years, if I continue to meet some certain volume, I'll be able to get some certain discounts. I mean, don't look at that discount numbers. This is not real numbers, but okay. So we get some certain discount. On the 5th year, I need to start migrating to the new platform. Otherwise, I will end up paying for more. If I migrate to the new platform, I will again my discount model reinstate back to the original. If I don't migrate, it will continue to stay. But in famous Excel file, I used to receive one line item called, okay, this is your cost. I used to charge back to my customer, but they don't know why my cost last month is okay. I mean, December 2024 is okay, but January 2025, why my cost suddenly become 20% extra? Because I'm only receiving the total. I'm not receiving this contracted price, this kind of effective price, all these details. If I don't get all those insights, it's not easy for me to drive those kind of changes. For them, is even since it is outsourced environment, even if I'm running out of end-of-life platform, they don't really see as a risk. It's not my problem from the business. It's IT guys, it's your problem. You go and fix it. But again, when we run into some kind of big issues, that's where all the things will surface, right? So we do not want to wait until that situation. So we want to use the focus to get all those insights, not just total cost, so that we'll be able to create that insights and we can drive that changes as well in advance. Again, Excel challenges, right? When we are receiving the Excels, most of the time, there's a lot of adjustments coming from the partners. They can be human errors, yes. But again, sometimes when we see every month we receive like suddenly, 50K discount. 100K extra. Why? We don't know. I mean, they just used to increase the quantity in order to change that number. I mean, they have the valid reasons. If I go and ask them, they have all the justification. But again, from the reporting point of view, it's not easy to show those adjustments. If you look at those focus format, they have the clear demarcation to show all these adjustments as well. Yeah? So that's also very important. That's why when we are looking at all those things, it's common. We cannot avoid this kind of human errors and adjustments we need to handle. We need to cater even Excel file or whatever the standards to cater this kind of challenges as well. Another important aspect. Sometimes we have the beautiful pricing strategies, right? Recently, not long ago, one of my partners sent me quotation saying that if we operate this many applications, 100 applications, I'll give you $100 or $10,000. If 101 applications, you need to pay for $20,000 because they go by block. So per unit basis, it's straightforward and easy to manage. But when we do not have those details, like tiered pricing, for example, if I'm using 101 applications, I'm end up paying for the 200 applications. Whether are we really getting the most benefits? No. But other hand, in my Excel file, I only see the total cost. I don't see all this, how many applications that I'm using it, whether is it really, why is the unit price is becoming expensive. It's very hard to quantify, very hard to demonstrate those insights. So if you look back in the focus format, this is also clearly defined. Sometimes it may not be exactly matching to this private cloud, but again, you can make use of that brain. You can translate back to what you want on that part as well. Earlier also I was mentioning about self-managed environment. This environment more about we are providing the environment for the team to manage by themselves. Especially these days, DevOps becoming very famous, right? A lot of people, they think that they're very good at DevOps. And yes, they are very good at, I'm not blaming DevOps guys here, but some of my colleagues, they are very good with this, lot of new initiatives and everything. But when it comes to the operations, sometimes they underestimate. And yes, but on the other hand, they click a lot of expensive buttons. We used to see the cost from the left hand. We used to charge to the right hand. And all the Azure AWS costs to go to them. But sometimes, the real stakeholders, finance and the OpCo general managers, they want to see the total cost of ownership. But they only see the Azure cost. Can they budget based on that one? Most of the time, they budget based on that one. But next year, most of the time exceed this budget because they did not take entire picture into the consideration. Because especially they have the licenses, they have the local partner. Because we are a globally operated company, most of the cases, we have the local partners to manage that environments. Not that we want to see that entire cost from all the local partners, but I want to enable my engineers to show that insights to the finance managers or business. I want to, if I really start working with each and every provider across the world, 80 operating companies, 80 plus Excel files, it's impossible. I will have the nightmares of Excel. So basically, we are trying to rely on this focus. Basically, we are trying to educate the people. Send the data in the focus format. Maybe we may need to adjust here and there. I'm not saying it's 100% fit into all these things. We need to have this data so that we can enable the platform, so that we will send the data about the public cloud data. They can upload their local data to show their entire cost of ownership. Then it's much easier for the local engineer or local IT manager to demonstrate that total cost of ownership and plan their budget, negotiate with their stakeholders. Another famous one. So especially when it comes to the Heineken, we use Akamai, we have the domain management. In our environment, domain management is one of the key. We have almost like 3,000 over domains. Even though I have only 350 brands of beers, but because every campaign, we have the different domain, different names. Sometimes it's okay, domain only $100. Why do we need to worry about it? But that's not true. When we have that domain, that campaign, I need to host somewhere in the website. I need to take care of that website. Sometimes they decommission this website, but they don't want to release this domain name because we want to protect our name for our company as well. Because sometimes, even though it's like a reputation, even though it's only costs like $100, but if that website compromise, it costs millions of dollars of reputation for Heineken. Even though it's not here, in this case, it's not about the dollar's value. The value is more than that. It's business value. It's unquantifiable. All these insights, especially if I go to my commercial people, oh, they love it. They really want to have this control. They really want to know the details, where exactly that website is hosted. Where exactly this domain, how is this domain, what is this SSL certificate, all sort of these details. We have not really figured it out how we can fit all this information because domain management is like we are receiving like 1 or 2 line items invoice. This is the domain name, this is the cost, but I have the hosting in the different place. Trying to merge all this information is not that easy. Initially, I was hoping that Focus can fix the problem. I'm not sure yet. So that's why I'm trying to, my advice to you guys, it may be able to fix that problem, but you need to get familiarized with that standards. And Focus also, one of the flexibility I noticed in the Focus, they have the columns, additional columns, partner-specific columns. It starts with the X underscore something. Maybe you can, for the time being, until Focus mature in that areas, they release the new revisions, you can make use of those columns to bring the data, start experimenting the data in that format. Our idea, at the end of the day, I want to bring all the data into the one single format. so that much easier for my engineer to process the data. And I'll spend less time to the data. I can make it as frequent as possible so that my reports also will be consistent. I'll be able to talk about the same language. Sometimes we only look at costs, but there are other factors as well, especially famous Microsoft. Okay, I guess no Microsoft people here. Very often they say end of life, right? Operating system end of life. It also costs sometimes. It also has a huge impact. If you don't upgrade them on time, they may have the extended security updates. Sometimes it has a lot of a business impact, a lot of vulnerability insights. If I show my reports only talking about the cost, it may not be sufficient. Sometimes I also need to project in advance, like for example, Windows 2012 is end of life. I need to tell them that in advance, if you don't do it, if you don't upgrade on time, what will be your cost projection? Because sometimes we may not be able to keep all those kind of unplanned things as part of the budget. Cost will go up. Service provider says end of life, costs always go up. There is no SLA. Sometimes cost is one aspect, but SLA, there's a lot of risk for business. We want to bring all those insights back into the one place so that our engineers is able to negotiate with the business. Sometimes we have a lot of breweries, a lot of antics sitting at the brewery, and to some extent we do see a lot of end of lives. They don't want to change because they're afraid it will break the process. But on the other hand, we need to show all this data back to our business. What is important? What it happens? What in terms of the cost? What in terms of the security? So that's why our idea, first of all, cost part, we want to make use of the focus to bring all the data. But at the same time, we don't want to ignore other aspects. We want to bring everything together at one place so that I can create call for actions. So sometimes we have a lot of advices back to our customers so that they can act on those insights. My ultimate goal by end of the day, if all my operating companies across the world, if they can answer, do they know what exactly why they are getting this bill, and what they are getting, why they are getting, what they are spending, what they get out of it, what kind of value that they are getting from there. If they can answer for themselves, they will be in the position to talk to business. They will be able to negotiate the budgets. They will be able to demonstrate the value. At the end of the day, again, when we are talking about savings, reservations, sometimes one of my famous operating company colleague reached out to me, "Oh, Kumar, 2022, we spent a lot of time, we made a lot of reservations for next 3 years, so I don't need to do anything for next 3 years. Because I already achieved, I got my bonus for next 3 years, I just need to look at your report and report to my boss, hey, boss, I achieved this every year, 1 million savings. So yes, it's good, yes, it's indeed, he can get the bonus. But again, it's not sustainable. It's need to change the mindset. Sometimes looking at those kind of reservations, not necessary it will continue to stay in that same manner. So in short, we need to change the people mindset, not only engineers, finance, even our stakeholders. When we have this change, this entire atmosphere or entire culture, those kind of advices, those kind of the efforts that we put in to make more efficient, it will stick to the organization. Even when we have all these kind of insights, sometimes we are dealing with a lot of subject matter experts from market. Sometimes our partners, they give a lot of insights. Sometimes if I listen, if I just communicate via the email, it's not going to solve that problem. I need to visualize it sometimes. It's not just one-time efforts. I need to stick those kind of efforts to my organization. So it needs to stick to the organization so that it can give the more benefits to the organization as well. That's the end of my session. Enjoy your evening with the Heineken. Make sure. Thanks, guys.
We have some time for Q&A. If you've been in my room earlier today, you've already heard my corny joke, but I have good news and bad news. Good news, I have this very convenient portable microphone that I can throw for your question. It is soft and squishy. It does not hurt if it hits you. Bad news, I don't play sports, so the first throw is going to be quite awkward depending on where this is going. Questions for Kumar? Thank you for having a question. Ready? All right. Oh!
Kumar, I assume that you have like multiple data centers, your own, so it's probably a lot of different hardware, different producers of that. How hard is that, or how deeply you need to go with your data about your hardware in order to implement focus for the data center, for the private cloud?
Okay, that's a good question. We have the two levels of the complexity in that area. We have the many service providers, private cloud data centers, which is operated by our partners, owned by the partners. We only consume as a virtual machines level. So underlying hardware, we are not really concerned. So we just pay by use cases. That's, we have this private cloud across the 4 regions as well. That's one of 50% of our investment in the private cloud. So that's one of them. But on top of that, we have costs at every operating company, they have the mini data centers, which is closer to the brewery. Sometimes those kind of investment, CapEx investment, it was done in 10 years ago. It's not easy to bring all those data because there is no financial element to it. So we are struggling in that area. We wanted to bring, we want to standardize, but sometimes it's kind of mission impossible kind of things. So at this moment, our focus more about public cloud. Private cloud is talking about our managed service provider private cloud, and hope one day we'll be able to extend all our insights to these local data centers as well. We are not there yet, but hopefully in the next 1 to 2 years, we'll get more maturity in that area. Especially, sorry for long-winded answer. Recently, there's a lot of IoT initiatives. In the past, people used to think, freeze. It's just freeze. Just I open the freeze and it's very cold, but it's no longer the freeze. It's a modern device. So we have the sensors in the freeze. That freeze also starts sending the data. We need to optimize that data, IoT devices. We need to optimize that data as well. Do I need to concern into our focus format? Yes, one day, definitely, even I need to bring that freeze information into my chargeback data. Are we there yet? No, we are not there yet. Hopefully, this kind of industry standards will help me to not go bald. So hopefully it will help me. So that's my hope for now. I mean, I don't want to be like my friend Chris. So, I mean, we are trying. We are not there yet, to be very honest. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Next question. Bonus points if it's far away, because then you have to throw it very far.
Okay,
yeah.
ask the questions.
Question
and
here.
We can have the Heineken beer in the evening. Oh.
Brilliant throw.
Hi,
We'll
Kumar.
go here and then to the back to Ruben.
Hey, it's me first?
Yep.
No. Hey, Kumar. First of all, I'm from Carlsberg, so cheers.
Oh. Cheers. That's nice.
So I think we also have a same setup, like you just said, like you have local data rooms. We also have local data rooms, and we are also struggling to bring the cost that we are spending in the local data rooms into our FinOps tool, right, FinOps practice. So how difficult, for example, like, you know, I have seen like in your Excel sheets, you are still on SAP ECC, which is a very traditional SAP system. And unfortunately, we also have that. So it's like we are talking about the same shit. But then how easy is for you to convince like the people locally, because it's very challenging for us as an infrastructure team to convince them to use FinOps, to get into the practice, to use the tool, and so on and so forth. So how difficult is for Heineken?
a good
I mean,
question.
for you, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
this is, actually focus we start experimenting. But before focus, 6 months ago, we started standardizing our Heineken standards back to these Excel files. We spend almost like more than 6 months to standardize. I want to have the Kumar's name in every column. So basically, so that's the Kumar standards. So after spending the 6 months with my partner, so he decided to leave that company because of my stress. So again, I back to square again. So now I learned my lesson. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, I start relying on the focus. But when I look at all those things, it's not as complex as what we think. Maybe 80% of the information, when the engineers start looking at it, we can translate. Definitely, yes, 20% there is a complexity. We really want to bring a lot of our emotions into that Excel files again. That's where I see that this column starts with the X. That's helping because we really want to retain our Heineken flavor into that Excel files or complexity, whatever the reasons. So that's where we are. I'm trying to leverage onto these additional columns to kind of a twist and tweak to make it how I want it to be in that manner. But by following all those things, 80% of this knowledge, I don't need to repeat again. Even somebody from my partners leave that organization, I don't need to repeat again this 80%. I only need to worry for this remaining 20%. Over the time, this 20% even will become less and less. Even focus earlier, they were mentioning they're going to have the yearly twice cadence to release the versions. I'm sure we will be part of that working group to provide our insights. They can also take our inputs and they will be able to mature all this into at next level. That's my view. But again, there is no straight answer, but we are struggling. But I see the hope in this focus to solve all these problems at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Final question is now a very short toss.
All right. Thanks. Just a question. You're standardizing billing data. I've worked with other large beer brewer, Belgian one, which provides also really good beer. They're working on unit metrics. So they actually calculate the growth of cost or the cost evolution compared to the price of one bottle of beer. Is that the same case within Heineken? And the second follow-up question is, do you think focus will help in providing visibility in that unit metric?
Yes, definitely, certainly. I mean, in the past, we seen as like this cost management. Sometimes I want to take one step back. Sometimes in our environment, as long as cost is within the budget, they're okay to spend. It becoming a black box. They work based on the trust. Yes, I like it because they're trusting me a lot. I'll get my bonus. But again, sometimes as a green-blooded person, it's not giving me my professional happiness because we are seeing a lot of waste costs. Mm-hmm. I really want to bring those kind of insights. If I really want to bring all the opportunities, those kind of insights, I need to have some kind of standards. As he mentioned, if I really want to show how much it is costing my IT cost per bottle or per hectoliter, I need to have all these insights. We really want to show all these metrics back to the business. They'll be able to appreciate whatever the technology that we are delivering back to them. That's where we start depending on this focus to mature our environment, but we are not there yet, definitely. Yeah. So we wanted to do it, but that's a very honest answer at this moment.
No better way to close a wonderful presentation than a humongous round of applause.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, producer Andrew here. I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoy sharing all of these amazing FinOps stories, best practices, and expertise. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and leave comments and questions for our speakers. Check out more FinOps X content on our YouTube channel. We appreciate the support.